That's right. You sip that coffee.
It tastes so good.
Slurp it.
I went low on the creamer today, trying to balance it. It's getting a little too sweet, my coffee, so I try to keep it,
You need to follow Matt on Snapchat so that you can see the
we have some fun.
The videos that we make every morning. I play the asshole boss because I'm his asshole boss in real life.
You play the asshole boss really well.
I just do that on Snapchat.
Like a DOS 84.
Like a DOS 84. I don't even know what my Snapchat is. I don't even think I Snapchat enough for you to want to follow it.
Fun. JP,
I pretty much just get on there and watch people.
I do a lot of snaps of my cat Nebo. He'll be like laying next to my globe, and I'll do the caption will say "plotting world domination." But
it's so funny.
He's a cat, so everyone knows it's not true.
Mine is I'm Justin Lloyd. So if you want to find me, just look up I'm Justin Lloyd.
That had to have been difficult to think of that name.
I spent a lot of time on it. I'm Justin Lloyd.
So
look that up. I use it some, but not quite as much.
We are Justin Lloyd. Right. I think in the spirit of everything.
Right. Woo! I love that. So welcome to the Walking Dead episode.
Did we already play the music?
Yeah. Episode 10, right? Was that episode 10?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, because 8 was the finale. 9. Yeah. So 10. I feel like neither one of you liked the episode, but I like the episode.
I thought it was better than last week's episode.
No, I thought it was worse. But at the same time,
it was okay. All right. I have a couple of problems with it, but I did like it better than last week.
I enjoyed it. I like what they're building to, and again, yes, it's a lot of build-up, but we're getting some action in there. I mean, we're getting... Carol's not going to be fighting. I understand why Daryl didn't tell her that, because he sees Carol's kind of happy out in her little like isolated hut and doesn't want to like crush her little reality with reality. But
that
I mean, at the same
really
time,
nice and comforting, like just very vacational.
Season 1 to season 7 now. You notice her windows were wide open. She's out in the middle of like nowhere. I mean, in the original Walking Dead, you had to like board up the windows, and because if zombies saw the light or anything, they were going to come to it like a magnet. And this one, they're just like, I mean, she's Carol, so she's so badass. She's like, I mean, I dare a zombie to put its face on my window.
Well, I was going to say, this is what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say it. She's kind of out in a sort of like a wooded area, and they've kind of cleared it out pretty
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the exact same thing.
We're still on the same page.
The kingdom is clearing out everything for her. They even said when they approached her, like, we were clearing some zombies.
But still, I just, I still would close my windows. I mean, that's the whole...
Well, it's for privacy.
Isn't that the true...
I mean, I like to walk around.
Don't let the air out.
Yeah. Isn't that the true terror of zombies and zombie movies? Is that even when you think the coast is clear, it never is? I mean,
Did you guys watch Talking Deads?
I watched a little bit of it.
Did I watch Talking Dead? Is that a rhetorical question? Do you really think I would watch that?
Maybe you listened to it.
I read up on it.
But no, they said that the flower paintings on her wall were symbolic of, look at the flowers, Dolly.
Right, Lizzie.
I think her name was Dolly. I think she killed Dolly Parton, actually.
No, I think she killed Lizzie. Dolly
I think
Parton.
we watched two different shows exist in two different planes of existence and just live in two different worlds.
If Dolly Parton were a zombie, she would just topple over because she's too top-heavy.
She just float. I mean, Dolly Parton would just float in the ocean.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
True.
Just
That's
like
funny.
float away. She'd be like Dolly
funny.
out and lay down on her back and just let her boobs carry her across the water.
But all right. So from the very beginning, we got Ezekiel, Morgan, and then all them waiting for. And who was that guy? I've never seen that guy before.
Who?
The guy that Ezekiel and Morgan at the top of the show, the very opening. It's Negan's people coming to. It's like he's like a mean Jesus. Like I compare him
Talking about the long-haired dude?
Yeah.
Oh, he was from the other episodes back. He had issues. So I don't know his name, but he had
Okay.
issues with Richard the last time they encountered each other.
Okay.
He's just a douche. Him and Richard got to fighting last time, and now he's just basically one of those douchebags that has power and is flaunting it around.
And he
he's
has
going to end up
Morgan's
getting.
stick.
Yeah, that was. I felt really bad. I wanted Morgan to get his
That was a
stick
good block,
back.
though. That was a really good block.
That was
It was really
awesome.
quick.
That was an awesome block. I really like. See, here's what I'm scared of. I'm scared they're going to kill Morgan soon.
Oh no!
Like in this scenario, like I feel like Morgan will die, and that's why Rick won't kill Negan. Like he'll keep Negan alive in Morgan's honor and keep him in that jail cell Morgan's built.
Oh no!
Makes a lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
But I don't know. I really like Morgan. I like how badass he is. I just love how when the dude goes to punch, he's just like, wow. And then that kid, he did save Morgan or saved
Benjamin.
Richard, but then he saved Richard from getting his ass beat even more. But then when he tried to save him, he kind of like hit Morgan too, right? Like
I thought the other guy hit Morgan with a stick.
I was thinking it was. I thought the kid accidentally did it. It happened so fast I couldn't see it. I'd have to go back and watch it in slow mo. I just had thought the kid accidentally did it, trying to stop the guy from hitting Richard.
It happened so fast. Who knows?
It could have been the other guy, like falling and his stick smacked him in the ear, but I just thought it was the kids because the kid just kind of comes in, and like when he goes low, I thought the top of the stick come back and hit Morgan in the.
But then Ezekiel even said, "Hey, you're getting really good with that stick."
Yeah. Oh,
you're
good.
Almost good with that stick. If you just stop hitting people in the face,
right.
you don't mean to hit them.
He was good because he did what he wanted to. He just kind of accidentally hit.
So he did hit Morgan
too. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Ezekiel was basically just like, keep it in your pants, pal. You know, you don't have to whip it out whenever there's the slightest hint of trouble.
I thought he was going to ask, can I have that stick?
Be judicious with the sticking.
His stick looks a lot thicker than Morgan's. I was noticing that, though. I mean, it's a really, big, like Morgan's looks like it would have broke a long time ago.
It looks like
I promise I'm not being a perv.
Like those rods that you would hang in your closet, like a wooden rod that you hang in your
it's real thick, man. Those are really hard to break. I mean, because you put, all that weight of the clothes and they just bend. They don't actually break. So I don't know who hit him in the ear, but he still was pretty badass with that stick because
That's true.
But
Morgan got his stick taken, but Daryl got a crossbow back. So that's exciting. Oh, you don't look like you were very happy about that.
I just am done with the Daryl crossbow thing, man. I mean, it's
what weapon should he have now?
I don't really give a shit.
He's got to have a signature weapon.
I really could give a shit less.
What could be? I like it. I'm glad that he's got his crossbow back. He looked really. I haven't seen him have that happiness in his eyes in a while.
A really big slingshot, kind of like a grown-up Bart Simpson.
Or like bolos or something, like the two balls on the end of a string that you swing around. You know what I'm talking about?
Just like a noisemaker that you get at the skate?
It's got like two balls on it. Like you see in the movies where they throw them at people and it trips them up. That catches them.
They have guns with it too. Like you shoot it at your feet and it wraps around your feet and it'll trip you up. Sometimes they have nets attached to them.
Yeah. Bolos.
Yeah. I never knew there was a name for that.
I don't know, but I think he should keep the crossbow.
Yeah.
I like the crossbow.
And he's good with it. He's darn good with it.
He is.
I love though that Richard was shooting the longbow, and then Daryl steps up. He's like, "I hear you're a pretty good archer." It's like, no, he's got a crossbow. There's a bit of a difference between being an archer and having a crossbow. A crossbow has a trigger and sights. A little bit easier to shoot. Them longbows, man. I mean, I actually have one. I just recently gave it to my little brother. I mean, they're hard to shoot. I mean, it takes a lot of practice to get good with those things. And I mean, it's I think harder than a compound bow, because even a compound bow has all those cool little sights and everything you can adjust. Whereas longbow, man, it's just straight skill. You've got to learn how to, predict how it's going to arch. I mean, it's really cool. I wonder if that's why they call them archers, because arches.
Gina Davis is an Olympic archer. I didn't know that.
I don't even know who that is.
I thought she was a dancer.
Maybe she's a little bit of both. I mean, think about it. Archery is just the dancing of the weapon world.
That's true. That's very true.
I don't know how that makes any sense.
I was going to say they literally stand still and shoot. How in the hell does that? If you wanted to say bow staff fighting was the ballet, that would make more sense. Sword fighting is the ballet of the fighting.
It's all interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some interpretive dance where they literally just stand there and make noise the entire performance. I mean, I guess you could say
that's true
in a way.
And then we've got Daryl and Richard. I took notes. I'm very excited. I feel very structured when I keep notes. It helps me keep up with what happened when. Daryl and Richard planning to ambush the Saviors. So what was okay? So then they end up fighting. What was Richard planning on making Carol just collateral damage?
Yes, he was planning on making her a sacrifice, more or less,
and
because
tug at Ezekiel's heartstrings.
Right.
So then he'd have no choice.
It's kind of like a Watchmen scenario. It's like, you sacrifice some for the greater good. I mean, really, Richard had a point, and he's like, it's going to take something big for Ezekiel to finally move and be like, we need to do this. And what better way to make it happen than to have the woman that he's crushing on hardcore get killed by the people you want to go to war with.
Daryl was kind of like Rorschach in this scenario.
Absolutely.
In this metaphor. Only he didn't get exploded.
Right.
He made out way better. Yeah.
Speaking of exploded, Christian Athos from last week, with the whole thing with the dynamite, he made a good point. They're filled with nitroglycerin and gunpowder, so after a little while, they can become very volatile if you just shake them around a little bit.
I believe it.
Old dynamite can be very volatile, so that's good to know. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it.
Yep. I've always been told you've got to be careful around old dynamite.
No one ever told me that. I wish I had the mentors that you had.
And it's always just laying around, too. Right? I never know what to do.
The people that I grew up with were just like, yeah, just go ahead and mess with it, see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And now we finally have the trash kids.
Yeah, I
hated this group.
Yeah,
why do they speak in sentence fragments?
Or hand gestures?
I mean, none of them grew up post-apocalypse, None of them, learned English without public schools or hooked on phonics.
And
it just really blows my mind. It's another group, like you said last week, Matt. They're just playing make-believe.
I wrote it down,
They're
too.
playing make-believe. At least Ezekiel's group is charming with it.
That is true.
I wasn't a big fan. I mean, I really feel like, though, I mean, they're not even in the comics. I feel like they're just going to basically be a lot of meat shields for when the big battles come. Like, they're the ones in the front line you're going to see get, like, Saving Private Ryan. They're going to be like the front line soldiers that just get mowed down. I mean, because there's
a lot of child soldiers.
And apparently the woman on The Walking Dead called them the scavengers. That's what they're called. Now, could it be that they are trying to put a twist on it and make them the Whisperers?
I don't know. She was very alpha-ish in the way she talked. I was waiting when he was like, "What's your name?" I was waiting for her to say Alpha.
That's what I thought she was
like,
going to say.
Okay, so now, it's going to be like a cool, like, oh, they once were partners and now
what'd you say her name was?
down the
Alpha?
road
They were all weird names.
Yeah, I wasn't really digging the Garbage Kids, but then again, I don't think the Scavengers, but I really feel like they're just there to add numbers because in the comics, I don't think Negan had quite as many men as he does in the show. In the show, he's just got like, I swear I thought they had put a number on it in the comic at like maybe 50 men or something like that.
And are we blowing?
It's been a while,
we blowing all the money on Shiva CGI because the green screen when Rick was on top of the hill and she showed him all of the track, like that was some of the worst CGI I have ever seen.
It?
Oh, it looked really fake, like really, really fake. How's it we can have a tiger that looks freaking real? Like Daryl can pet it, and you're thinking, oh, he's really petting a tiger, but we can't make Rick look like he's in front of a trash.
I really didn't pay that much attention to it, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again.
It's like it stood out to me when he climbed up there and he was just looking at her and it looked very CGI.
I would have smacked the shit out of her after she pushed me.
Oh
down
my
the
God! I would have grabbed on and pulled her down with me.
You could have just said, "I need you to prove yourself. Go down here and kill that Iron Maiden looking zombie." I'd be like, okay. But don't you? After I got back and she'd be like, "You've proved yourself." I'd backhanded them. Pow!
Right? And she's like, "Why do you not want to shake my bloody hand? You're wearing a glove. It's okay." She looked at
you did it.
You're wearing a glove.
They're teasing again that Rick may lose his hand. I mean, what is this, like the second time in the last season or two that we've had a injured hand on Rick?
No.
That which was it? Was it his right hand?
I believe it was his right hand.
Because in the comics, he loses his right hand.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Because they say Andrew Lincoln, from what I had read, wanted them to make Rick lose his hand. But so I don't know, man. I just feel like that because Robert Kirkman has expressed that he just wasn't. That he wished he wouldn't have done that. She's had a lot of things as throughout the comics. I'm sure many writers do. Where like, I wish I would have done that a little different. But he said that he wishes he would have left Rick's hand on. So I hope, it'd be cool, but at the same time, because that is part of why, at the same time, while he didn't like it, that's part of why Rick Grimes is so badass in the comics. He's not a big guy, he's only got one hand, and he still always comes out on top. But in the show, we've already established that Rick's a badass.
Right.
But they are teasing that again.
When it comes to, like, apparently people who lose their hand, and this is what I've noticed, it's hard to... without using CGI, it's hard to get it to look real. Like,
they'd have to do a Merle thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at Merle, but even then you could be
it.
like, oh, he's just got his hand underneath like some metal piece or whatever.
They had to save all that CGI money for the tiger.
For Shiva.
So, yeah, no chopping off the hand.
I can't wait to see her in action. I feel like this season is. I feel like we're going to get a little action. Like next episode, I think we were supposed to see Negan, right? And Negan's going to be talking to Dwight.
Negan heavy episode.
So I feel like those that want like crazy action are going to be disappointed this season. I think the whole thing is a build up to all out war, which is going to be like at least a half a season of straight up combat. I feel. Because in the comics, once it starts, man, it's just like it never stops until the war pretty much ends.
Yeah. Do you guys think they had Father Gabriel? They were going to feed him to Winslow the spiky zombie?
I don't know. He asked her. What did he say when he asked her what was she going to do with Gabriel?
That's what I'm saying. I think they take in strays to feed to Winslow the spiky zombie.
Or maybe they see like they just throw them in there and like let's test your worth.
Just for fun. Yeah.
Let us test your metal. It was just when she said something and she said hold up.
And you can tell they're definitely setting up for Tara to tell Rick about the Oceanside village when he's like, you've been out there, you can at least tell us where not to go. And she's just like, she's going to turn around and be like,
really happy about that, given that ability to do that. He was like, you could tell us where not to go. Okay. She was really happy about
Rosita and Tara, speaking of which, having a little bit of a standoff. Tara wants to go ahead, find these guns, and get to combat. Rosita
wants to do that.
I could see, right, Rosita wants to go find the guns, fight and all that. Tara's kind of like, let's just go do this thing one step at a time. And I I think that I doubt it'll happen, but everybody thinks Sasha's going to die like Holly did, which she still very well could, and it would make the most sense because of Abraham and all of that. But I mean, Rosita's on that path of like sacrificing herself, like she's already acted rash once, and now she's very ready to do it again.
Care.
I mean, she's really just ready to go.
I love when I get to say devil may care.
Yeah, you do like that, don't you? I don't like what her direction that she's going in. She's becoming a little too much. I don't know, like a.
She's becoming like
bitch.
Sasha was when Bob died. After Bob died, Sasha went on this like war path and was just like, laying on dead zombies and killing everything, and almost faced off with Michonne, a very
I forgot all about Bob.
And she said something very, like, it struck me. It sounded very Savior-esque when she was like, I don't care who we have to step over or what we have to do, we're going to do it. It's like, that is the same motive that the people that you are against are using.
I really hope that they follow the comics, man, because right now the comics are doing some really good stuff with Negan. Really good writing and really good direction. That's not your typical story. Like, you don't typically see a villain. I don't know. It's just really, really well written. I'm really loving the comics right now.
I mean, what's kept
Negan,
the comics so good year after year after year is it's so character driven. You know? It's just
and you can never really predict what some of these characters are going to do. Someone you think is just a bad guy might turn out to be okay, and someone who's a good guy might turn out to be a complete asshole.
I think you can. It's very evident that Kirkman's kept a bigger hand in the comic more than the show, as far as story and writing and everything.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which I'm guessing he makes more money from the comics than he does from the show. I guarantee you, because probably the producers and the network and all that have more rights to the show.
Everyone's
where the comic
yeah.
is his baby. So there's more slices of the pie going out for the TV show.
And plus, with Image Comics, he's like one of the big dogs now.
Yeah,
he's like, on the board.
Image is building up, man. They're doing all right.
I like what going back. I like what Daryl told Richard when he was like, if she gets hurt, if she gets the flu, she gets bitten by a walker. Basically, if anything happens to Carol, I am coming for you.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Carol, so Ezekiel
really
and
Richard,
them come to. I do. He's.
I really thought Daryl was going to kill him when he had his back turned.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
too.
man, damn it,
I thought he was
like
going to try
Richard.
to knock him out and just leave him there. I was like, well, that's not safe either.
Yeah.
But no, Carol. So Ezekiel and them clearing everything out. Were Ezekiel and Carol flirting? Was that what I was seeing?
I was picking up some vibes.
Bringing her cobbler and whatnot. And why are they putting her up on a pedestal so much?
Because Ezekiel likes her.
Okay, so that's the only reason.
I think Ezekiel likes her. No, I mean, I think they want her.
So
I don't think. Well, right now, I don't think that Ezekiel wants to go to combat, so I don't know that he's necessarily using her for anything. He doesn't want to fight. I think Ezekiel just genuinely is interested in her.
And he is so good with names. Like at the beginning, he was just like, "Yes, Jared. Of course, Susan."
He overemphasizes.
It does. It's very.
Well, I like Patrick Stewart, but I love Patrick Stewart.
Richard will talk later.
I've got that exact same dish that the cobbler was in, the exact same one.
It's like a Pyrex dish with the blue top.
Yeah, I would have brought her spaghetti.
It's the little things in life that make us excited.
Mm-hmm. If I was in a zombie apocalypse and I saw one of those Pyrex dishes, I think it'd be remind me of the old days. Yeah, grab it
because it seals in the moisture really, really well. My spaghetti never dries out. It's just I don't cook it in the dish. I don't bake my spaghetti. I've been told maybe I should bake my spaghetti, but I'm not baking my spaghetti. Mm-hmm. So I put it in there, just out of the pan. And
when the zombie apocalypse comes, you can be Carol.
I guess noodles might be hard to come by, though. Didn't we have that earlier at Alexandria? Someone was like, "Oh, I wish somebody would get me a noodle maker so I could make pasta."
Didn't they have spaghetti?
I think that, but when that happened, I think Carol had asked for some ingredients. Was like, "I'll show you how to make your own pasta."
I can't remember if that was.
Do you know how to make your own pasta, JP?
I don't know how to make my own pasta.
Your Carol has been revoked. You can't be Carol.
You can't make your own pasta?
They did that on Hell's Kitchen one time, and I was like, man, this is really a process.
That sounds like a euphemism. I wish Carol would teach me to make my own pasta.
That's probably what King Ezekiel's saying.
Mm-hmm. I think he wants sloppy joes though. That sounds even
That's
dirtier.
a really nasty sounding metaphor.
And then I really like.
I'm seeing anal play in there somewhere.
little butt games.
Oh man,
lick the plate clean, Ezekiel. Lick it clean.
I'm trying. Okay, so then we got Rick and Father Gabriel. I forgot to say one thing. It was a very shining moment of acting on Carol's part when she opened the door. You could tell before the screen cut to it being Daryl. Yeah. You knew it was Daryl just by her reaction. Yeah. And I love little things like that.
Either that or Ezekiel just with his coat open and wearing
there were candles and everything there.
Flashing.
I really wanted, I wanted Daryl to take that ass to Pound Town.
I
but
knew it was either Daryl
it didn't happen.
or Ezekiel's dong. She saw one thing when she opened the door.
That's going to be the love triangle between Daryl, Carol, and Ezekiel.
I don't think Daryl.
I don't think they're actually going to do it. I think Daryl's just not. And everybody keeps trying to say like, they hope Daryl will turn out gay. I don't think Daryl. Like they've said it before. Daryl's a character that's not written to have a relationship.
Nah.
Like Daryl's not interested in a social relationship. He's just about survival and protecting his people.
His crossbow.
Squirrels.
I think that's why I like it so much, because he's made a connection with it, and I see that as his significant other. His crossbow. That's his significant other. Then we have, speaking of relationships, Rick and Father Gabriel are getting
Father Gabriel
much closer.
Oh yeah,
I'm worried. For Daryl.
I was thinking there was going to be a Father Gabriel, Michonne, Rick three-way that night. The way when Father Gabriel was throwing out his.
But that means Rick would be in the
Father
middle.
Gabriel was throwing out all those "I love yous" to Rick. Man, it just was true. Like.
But yeah, Daryl's got a little competition as far as his romance.
I was waiting for Rick to say, "You need to back off before Daryl finds out."
I would have liked to have seen Winslow the spiky zombie, though, eat one of our survivors. I mean, I'm just saying that would have been a really cool
see him eat
scene.
or kill someone.
I don't think. I don't know that he would have been able
wasted.
to eat them with all the spikes. He would have just kind of like spiked them to the ground and gnawed.
It would have been a really gnarly death.
Yeah.
Though.
I didn't want him to kill the zombie. It would have been cool when he used. Which, thank you, Michonne, for telling Rick something very simple.
I thought about that. I'm like, man, if Michonne was in there, I had said that when she was looking through the circle, like through the little tunnel. We were all watching. I was like, I bet if she was in there, this would be over already. And then she's like, use the whatever against them, and I'm like. See, I told you. I mean, Rick might have been done if it weren't for Michonne.
But I wish they would have toppled the wall on him and then just laying there, and then just walk out and be like, "I'm not gonna kill him because he's yours" or something like that. That was not as good as your Rick impression, but I try. And then at the end of that, when Rick gave Mama Shone that little cat. Like it was the equivalent of a prize.
Why are we taking that? Because we want it.
Because we want it. It was something from a few seasons ago.
Yeah,
right?
on The Talking Dead, they said she had like a cat sculpture at the prison, and when the governor ate it, I totally didn't remember that.
No, I didn't either.
One of those quick passing by things.
Oh, yeah, it's just for like the diehard. I need to bring it. I have a Walking Dead trivia game, and we played it one night, and I mean, it's ridiculously hard. Like, it asks questions like that. Like, it might ask you,
in season
what
2,
color
episode 4, what meat did Daryl eat?
Like, they'll say something like,
salami.
Very good.
Like Rick wore a brown shirt which I mean, this is just making it up, but it'd be like Rick wore like a brown shirt season 3. One episode he wore a different color shirt. What was it? And you're like, I don't know. Like, it's those kind of questions. So I need to bring that
darker brown.
Bring that and use that at the end of every podcast.
That'd be
one
cool.
complicated question.
When you're a warrior,
more for the podcasters than the people listening, though, because all they'll do is Google the answer.
You always wear a red shirt and brown pants,
and a black or brown belt. What do you think?
The blood and the other for the doo-doo.
Because your belt's got to especially in the zombie apocalypse. Like, you got to go back to the 1800s. You got to wear stuff that doesn't get as dirty.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason you don't wear white after Labor Day.
Oh, God. Speaking of red shirts, Burt Reynolds.
Don't tell me Burt
Eastbound
Reynolds
and Down.
died.
No.
Okay.
I mean, Smokey and the Bandit, the trailer.
What about it?
When Daryl and Richard were behind a
Oh,
trailer.
yeah, there was
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit Easter egg.
I saw the car.
I really want to see a zombified Jerry Reed.
It's a Trans Am, right? A zombified Jerry Reed.
Yeah, just crawling out from under that big old trailer.
And who was the sheriff? What was his name?
Buford T. Justice.
And what was
Jackie Gleason.
Thank you, Jackie Gleason.
Here's
There
the
we go.
important question.
One of my favorite movies, you guys.
Who do we think's death is going to push Ezekiel into combat? Do you think it's going to be the boy? What was his name? Benjamin? Do we think it's going to be Benjamin? Do we think it'll be, obviously, probably not Carol, but we know
Shiva?
that Carol, it's on the table because Carol's death would definitely, Benjamin, Carol, Richard, Shiva, if they really kill Shiva and that's what throws him into the combat, A, it's too John Wickish, B, we want to see this cat in combat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I think. Shiva will go in there and start destroying and killing
what do we
people.
think
And then
will make the combat start? You know what I'm saying? Like right now, Ezekiel won't even let his people fight back. So what do we think is going to happen to make Ezekiel say, okay, we're going to war with the Saviors? Someone's death, it's probably going to be Richard's. I feel like
Either
it's going to
Richard
be
or
Richard.
Benjamin, I would think.
And being that Richard's going to die, if they make it Benjamin, man, that's what everyone is saying. Like people that don't even listen to our podcast, I'll talk to, and they'll say, I'm telling you, that Benjamin kid's going to die, and that's what's going to make Ezekiel. So they do that. They're getting extremely, extremely predictable. Richard, would make sense because Richard wants to go to combat. It's like his dying wish, and he's kind of like Ezekiel's right-hand man. So to see him die, And then, he's kind of carrying on his legacy the way I said Rick might do with Morgan when he dies. What do you think about...
I hope it's not Jerry.
I was going to say, that's the next one. I was going to say, or it could be Jerry.
I hope it's not like Carol finds out through another source what happened with Glenn and Abraham and all that because Daryl didn't tell her. So she's going to find out through someone else.
And she's going to break up with Daryl.
Right, and then she's going to go off and... I was waiting for them to kiss or something. Like,
it was candles. They were alone in the woods, man. Like I said, I thought that ass was on a one-way trip to
When he
Pound Town.
turned back around, like when he was leaving, he turned back around. I thought, oh, he's going to plan a big one on her. No, I just gave her a big hug. And I was like, what's going on? Is it just their relationship? Are they not romantic?
I think everyone wants them to be romantic, but really they just have like a friendship.
Like best
you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's like, yes, guys and girls can be friends without there being any sexual tension.
It can.
But, so I think Carol's going to get with Ezekiel because, like I said, in the comics, it's Michonne who takes that role, but obviously she's preoccupied at the moment. So I think Carol's not even in the comics at this point, so I think that she's going to step into that role and be Ezekiel's. Which I'm all in favor of that. I could definitely see Carol and Ezekiel. She'll probably make him stop the king thing when they're in bed. Like he'll be like, "Dost thou like that?" And she'll be like, "Come on, stop."
Like that?
I think that's why he likes her so much.
Like that?
She's the one person who calls him out on his BS.
Yeah,
he's got to drop the facade around her.
Oh yeah, he did for a second. That's what I was saying earlier when they went and visited her at her cabin and she was turning back around. Like he dropped his character, went, "Hold up." And I was like, well, that was really... He should have said, "Stoppeth," before that. I don't know what he would say. I don't know.
Yeah.
Haste.
I really like that. I want to see... I'm excited to see where the Ezekiel Carol thing is going to go. I think that's going to be the next big,
could she become... Could she be on the track to become alpha?
I hope
do you
not.
think?
I hope not. I mean, she loves the group. She was obviously bawling and crying, thinking like, who died by the saviors? So to somehow say there's going to be this path that's going to put her opposite of Rick and want them to actually kill each other. And the thing, actually, you know what? I don't want to spoil the comics if you haven't gotten that far, but I'll tell you when you cut the mic off. But no, there's something that happens that I just could not see them doing in the show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah. Actually, I'm going to mute the mics.
Right.
So, as you see,
man,
why I
when
don't
did that
necessarily
happen?
see Carol a while back.
What?
I don't see...
and you said that really quickly, and it just... Like, wow.
I don't see
That's
Carol
basically what
doing
launched
that,
him
you know
into
what I mean?
To the war with the Whisperers, or the Whisperer War.
So I don't know.
Wow.
I've seen that floating around, but I don't think so. But I do think that we will see the Whisperers. I think they'll at least kind of allude to them by the end of this season. I know that we haven't even gotten into all-out war, but everyone's been constantly like pretty much before even Negan showed up. They're like, "Are we going to see the Whisperers or the Wolves, the Whisperers?" So I think they might give like some kind of hint or some kind of. Some kind of like Morgan. We saw little hints that Morgan was coming before he ever became a part of the group. So
that's where the thing with the cat happened when they went and visited Morgan back in like season 3. Mm-hmm. It was Michonne and Carl and Rick. The whole thing with the cat,
which is also
I totally don't remember.
Which is also it's full circle when Morgan made a reference that people thought maybe could be talking about the Whisperers when he said what dead people wearing living people's faces or something to that effect. I don't know the exact scripting of it, but talking about, something that you just could be talking about the zombies through a warped perception or actually could be the Whisperers, because that's half of the Whisperers thing is that they talk and they whisper and it just kind of drives people crazy, Which is going to be really cool how they do
talking.
I can see that in the show going over really, really cool, kind of like the Whispers from Lost.
You have to turn that. They're going to have to do something with the volume, like ADR or something.
Yeah,
because there's just going to be really weird levels.
But so I'm trying to think. Benjamin becoming a bit of a badass. Mm-hmm. I loved Morgan's block again. That was like my favorite part of the episode, man. I really want Morgan just to break. If he dies, it's got to be like badass. You know what I mean? Like his death needs to be like they're on the battlefield and he's being reserved, and then like he. One of those, like, get to the chopper, I'll hold him off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, just runs up and kind of like the end of Halo Reach, which if you haven't played that and you don't know the end of that by now, good God, it's been like 6-7 years. So
it's true.
But, where your character, he just dies fighting on Reach as the rest are getting away before they destroy it. Like, that would be so cool to have, like, Morgan, one of those, go, and then like they're leaving, and Morgan just is kicking ass, but eventually gets killed off.
Why do they call it Halo Reach?
The planet
was
It's
Reach.
all about something like way up on the top shelf.
I recommend reading a book called Halo: The Fall of Reach.
Oh, I've got that.
Dude.
So Reach
it's a
is someone's
prequel.
name.
No, Reach is the
the
planet.
name of the planet
it's a
that the
planet.
Spartans were like basically.
It's like the last
like
planet defense before Earth.
Oh.
It's the last planetary defense we have
The
from
fall
the
of
Covenant
Reach
before.
is what basically
Dude,
kicks
it's
off
so
the aliens
good.
coming to Earth.
And it gives you the backstory of how like John became Master Chief. It's got like a mixture of what's that planet? Not oh my god, where the kids are on the island, the Fly.
Lord of the
Lord of the
Flies?
Flies. It's got like a mixture of Lord of the Flies, a little bit of military stuff in there. I mean, it is a solid.
And you
book.
learn my favorite reason why Master Chief is just as badass as he is.
Right.
He's not the strongest. He's not the fastest. He's just the luckiest. Like it's just one of those things. Things just tend to work out
Like
for
it's
him.
really
He's
like they
blessed.
explain
And
how
of
they
course,
got
Cortana.
these kids and made. Oh yeah,
Cortana,
dude.
the little voice in his, the little AI that basically tells him everything to do.
He
that
has the
kinda
best
helps too.
AI like out of everybody. So
They
that's
were
how it
basically
works.
like made, like I mean, they just bonded as soon as they met.
But I can't talk. I mean, it's a thick book, but bro, and all of our listeners too. Halo: The Fall of Reach. It's
Even
a
if you don't
good
like Halo, it's a good read, yeah.
It's a good 15 years old, probably. The book is.
I read it
But
back in
it's-
like 2007.
It got me through senior year of English class in high school.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Good book.
You wrote like a paper on it or something?
No, I read
Compared
it while
to
class.
Hamlet?
No, I read it while class was going on.
Oh.
The Walking Dead actually has a new book, man.
Compared
But I'm
to
going to tell you the
Hamlet, though,
truth.
that's good.
The Walking Dead, The Rise of the Governor was really good. I didn't really like the twist they tried to go with at the end, but it still was a really good read, really dark, really, really good. The Walking Dead Road to Woodbury was pretty good. They keep trying to pull this Lily character, and make her more than she was. She was the character in the comic who killed the governor. You only saw her for like a frame or two, and then they tried to expand upon her. That book was okay. Then The Fall of the Governor, part 1 and 2, I thought were pretty good. And then pretty much after that, I've just like, it's one of those things where this character is just not that interesting and they keep trying to write books. But if you like reading, don't forget The Walking Dead does also have a book which follows more along the comic lines. Like the book you're reading falls more along with the comic storyline than the show. But if you like to read, since we're talking about books, figured I'd throw that in there. They have a new one out. So it's worth the read. I mean, if you like The Walking Dead.
I like to read. I just
Some of the
can't.
stuff is just really cheesy. It's very like cliche
Right.
stuff, but still.
A lot of
good.
cheesy stuff going on this episode.
But yeah. So I'm trying to think. Was there anything big that we missed?
And we finished off with let me see, what do we have? Daryl and Morgan. Daryl leaving where he's going to the hilltop. Is that where he's going to?
But that's. I mean, I get he wants to go fight, but I mean, the whole point of being at the kingdom is that you don't have to worry about being found. Because man, if Negan finds you now, you are screwed. I mean, we see
Not
from
to
the
mention the
previews
people
he's
at the
looking, he's
hilltop.
hunting him down.
He just likes to live dangerously.
And the hilltop, you're going where Gregory is, who will sell you out in a heartbeat. Who's a little rat bastard, tried to sell Maggie and Sasha out as quick, just as soon as he got the chance. I mean, I get why he's going, but I'm just saying, like, I'd send a pigeon or something, send a raven. You know what I mean? Like,
little note tied to its little.
send a little letter.
Claw.
Dear Rick and company. Dear Maggie, everyone at the dear Jesus, Maggie, everyone. And send one to Alexandria and the hilltop and be like, I request your presence at the kingdom for a tea party and discussion of how we're going to pwn Negan.
Even better, send like a kid with a horn and then like come up and
Right.
mail call.
Love Daryl.
That's right.
Except you, Richard. Go fuck yourself.
He'd put thanks
Don't
on
mess with
everybody
Carol.
else's except for Rick's note. It would say love always.
Love you guys. And you, Rick.
It's like, why is he
And then-
very specific about Rick in these
Man,
letters?
make sure to. Is that a picture of a dong? What is
Send
this?
more dog food.
Send more dog food sandwiches. Not the dry kind. I
Yeah, at
want
this
the wet.
point, he doesn't even need the bread. He's like, just give me the meat.
Yeah. I think Daryl would pretty much eat. I mean, but Daryl's a survivor, man. He's like the ultimate survivor. He will survive regardless of what
As
he
long
has to
as
eat.
he knows how to love, I know he'll stay alive.
He knows how to love from afar.
Afar. Are you saying like fire? Or
Far. Like
far away?
Carol. He's not going to get in. And, he's not going.
Right. Like if
He's
Rick
not
was
going
a-
to get in there, but he's going to he loves her, but he don't love her. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
right.
He loves her, but he's not going to love her.
he's love her, but he's not in love with her. Is that what it is?
It's like,
yeah.
excuse my language. He loves her, but he's not going to bang her.
Oh, right. What you didn't say? I think you said.
I was about to say the F word, but I
Oh,
stopped
that was nice.
myself.
That was
because
nice of you.
I
That
don't
was
like
good.
to say the F word unless I'm
Yeah,
on
just-
Matt's Snapchat.
Thank you. Go to that Snapchat, by the way.
Yeah, I say it a lot.
I think we covered everything. And then next week's no Negan this week, but a really Negan heavy next week.
It looks like it. I'm excited. He's questioning. It looks like he's questioning Dwight's loyalty.
Looks fed up with everything.
Because did we ever decide who actually let Daryl out? I mean, I know it was in the air. At first, people thought Jesus, but then I think they ruled out Jesus, and then I think I've seen a toss up between Dwight and
his lady friend.
His lady friend.
Yeah.
Even though he tried to, I know it wasn't, so I don't want to know it wasn't. But it wouldn't be even tragic if like Fat Joey was the one that let him out.
Oh God!
And then he killed him. But it was either Dwight or his girlfriend or former wife.
And it looks like next week's episode is going to pick up like they're figuring out Daryl's escape just as they're bringing Eugene in.
Right.
It's going to be pretty cool to see Eugene interacting with Negan.
Yeah, Eugene just looks like he is 1 second away from shitting himself, like at all times.
I watched it with my parents last night. That's what my dad had said. He was like, man, I hope Eugene starts to man up. Because in the comics he does, but it takes a while. And he's still not like the ideal, like manly man. But he's starting to exhibit, to show a little bravery when he needs to. And
Eugene is a prime example of how dialogue, like really weird, because people don't talk like he does on the show,
right? But
it works for his character. But then you hear people like the scavengers and the kingdom, and they're talking like, and it just takes me out of it. I'm
luckily
like, playing make believe.
Luckily, what I like, because it's real. Like what I do like about Eugene's character, and especially in the comics, and I hope they follow suit with the show, is that not everyone will be, through hard times, not everyone will become a badass. Some people will stay cowardly. Some people will never develop. And that's what the comics really focuses on. Eugene never becomes the kind of guy who's just going to run out on the front lines and start taking people out. But like his way of contributing is to continuously make ammo and to come up with technology and ways to benefit the group.
He does have his place on the team.
And that's the way it would be in real life, because it's like not everyone's going to be the Rick upfront fighter. Some people are going to have to stay back and contribute in other ways.
And don't forget, the last time Dwight saw Eugene had his his wiener in his mouth, right?
No, they had seen him since then.
Wait, what?
Since he bit his
yeah, he saw him. He saw him in the lineup.
Eugene. Oh, the last time Eugene. Okay,
but they haven't really had like one-on-one time together like they're going to have now. It's definitely going to come up.
Definitely harboring a grudge.
Do you think Negan's going to put? Oh, you know what I could totally see right now is that like when Negan has Eugene and Dwight near each other, he's going to be like, "Oh, you awkward."
It's going to be,
you know what I mean, or it's almost like an X type thing. But I doubt Negan's going to put Dwight in charge of watching
like
Eugene,
he did with Daryl.
Because obviously that didn't work out. So and Daryl, it's like, which then again, Eugene's not really the most threatening. Oh, he's going to try to escape, but I don't see Negan putting Dwight in charge. I think Dwight's going to be like on trash duty here for the next few weeks.
Dwight will probably take his pecker out and be like, "You see that scar, Eugene? You see it? Does it look familiar?"
You want to know how I got these scars? I'm interested. What I'm really interested to see is because in the comics, it's Dwight that introduces Rick to Ezekiel, correct? Dwight has a hand in arranging Rick and Ezekiel's meeting.
That sounds
because I remember
right.
At the end of the issue, Dwight steps out from the shadows after Rick's met Ezekiel. I can't remember who exactly, but so Dwight had a big hand in introducing them to. Now maybe Jesus introduced him in the comics too, but Dwight wasn't there. I'm interested. You can tell Dwight's not happy with Negan, but I'm interested to see because in the comics, spoilers, sorry. Dwight, helps Rick and them. He's now a good friend and ally to Rick in the comics. So, but I don't know. I'm interested to see if they're going to go that route in the show or if they're going to maybe have Dwight not necessarily become a strong ally, but maybe just do something to help Rick and die in the process.
I'm still reeling from that spoiler you told me earlier. Like, I can't, I don't. So I need to go lay down for a little bit or something.
So I think when that happened at the end of the comic, it broke my heart.
Powerful.
I was like, what?
Like usually I don't mind telling spoilers to people, but I want that to be a surprise to people.
I hope it doesn't happen in the same way that does, man. And someone else very popular.
Will you stop telling me? Why are you doing this to me?
Yep. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else?
What is happening, guys? I cannot. I cannot. Was that a lie?
No, that was the truth.
Please tell me you're kidding.
I'm kidding.
Thank God, dude. Because
in a reality where
God, my heart couldn't tell that.
Yeah,
I couldn't take that much.
No,
more.
I just had to throw that in. That was
seriously
kind of like
though.
the
I need to
shot.
go have a shot of something and relax.
But yeah, so I think we covered most of the episode.
We did.
I'm sure we left out something little. It's easy to do.
Always do.
I
Let us know.
I'm going to be the unpopular one here. I'm going to rate it at like an 8.5. I enjoyed it. Like
Well,
I was
that's
never
not unpopular.
bored. I was never like bored the whole time. Like the first issue, I liked the first episode, but I mean it was times where you're just kind of like, we go get a beer.
I will never question your popularity over your opinion of something.
Wait, what?
Because you said this is the unpopular opinion.
Oh,
And I would never judge your popularity based
Well,
on
thank
your
you.
opinion. But still, your opinion sucks.
Right.
And, right now. No, so what did I say, 6.5 last week?
yeah.
Let's go with 7 this week.
Okay.
Just because it was, it's a slow, and I get what you're saying. It's a slow build to war.
They're
We're marching
starting to throw a
war.
little action in there when they can.
Right, but
they're,
there's just that whole the whole gladiator.
And keep in
scene
mind
thing,
that it makes a lot of sense. I read something that said, AMC has them contracted out to do 16 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas Game of Thrones, they go, all right, we've got to fit a lot into 8 to 10 episodes,
They have
and
to
that's
stretch
why
it
they're
out
so
for this
action packed
show, yeah.
and there's so much happening. So like while Rick and them are having a slow moment meeting these weird garbage people, you'll see Morgan and them like fighting and all of that, where The Walking Dead has to come up with 16 episodes. So there are going to be some lulls, in that. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. I really think that once the all-out war starts, people are going to be like, wow, this is such a good payoff. Like,
I hope so, man. I hope I can get you. I hope I can get a little bit of your optimism.
I don't know that you will. I don't really feel like you like the show that
It
much.
sucks. Like I'm
from the
usually a really
beginning,
optimistic
so-
person. Well, I'm not. I don't like the direction that it has taken. When it first started, I was really on board, but it has let me down a lot. But I stick with it because I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate at least watching the show and talking to fans about it. I still consider myself a fan, just not like a diehard fan.
Right.
Like if I miss an episode, it's like, nah, whatever. If I didn't have the podcast, but with the podcast, I have to watch the show.
Right.
So I'm just kind of holding out, hoping for something great.
JP, what do you want to rate it?
Here we go.
Yeah.
What you got?
I'll be generous and give it a 6.
Jesus,
A number 6.
you really didn't like
man.
this
I
episode.
didn't like
bad?
I mean, Rick should have just been like, "Look, lady, obviously your favorite movie was Mad Max, but it's enough with the broken English already."
I don't like her character. I don't like that
No,
woman.
I don't like the whole.
that character.
Like I said, I really think the scavengers. I mean, I think they'll eventually become allies, kind of like in the way they do in the comics, where it's like they got all these different communities and they're all trading allies or whatever. But I don't think the scavengers are going to be a big prominent part of the. I think that they're just going to be allies. They're just building the numbers right now.
I wonder how long it took them, because all these teenagers, they got to have short attention spans. How long did it teach them all to get them on the same playing field of what her hand motions mean? Because she had 3 or 4 different. Like she had one that looked a lot. One was like a circular, and the other one was like a twitatois.
When I grew up, we had a lot of hand signals. We played paintball a lot, and we had a lot of hand signals that you just learn. Like we just would discuss them.
So maybe they were just on like a
So,
big
you know,
paintball outing.
Maybe
when
they
everything
have.
was down.
Maybe they have scavenger meetings where they sit down and they're like, "All right, let's go. All right,
Any questions for this week? Yeah.
Before
What does
we
this
start.
one mean?
Yeah, right. It's like, all right, so this. Who can tell me what this means?
So people raise their
Which
hand.
they
Does
speak
that mean
really weird.
gather up?
Tell me this. Tell me what this means. You shall.
Does that mean whoop-de-doo?
Does that mean you're having a good time?
I think that means that you're not really impressed. You're just sarcastically saying that you like something, but you're just.
Does that mean you want a horse? Like you ride it? Like, woo. But yeah, so I don't know.
Helicopter?
I wonder how
Is
they
that
teach.
what
Maybe
that
they're all
means?
just very, very like. I don't know.
They're all very quiet.
I don't
How do you
like
keep
them
them all
either,
so quiet?
but I do think that they're going to be, like I said, a lot of meat shields. I'm anxious to see. Here's
Meat
the question
shields.
I'll leave you with. Do you think that they're going to side with the ocean side group, or do you think they're just going to raid them and take their guns?
I feel like they're going to try to
Yeah.
group up with them, try to get their numbers up, but it's not going to happen.
So you think the end result will be they'll have to take their guns? I don't know if they'll necessarily kill them all because there's lots of kids there. I mean, it would be.
I think some will go along with Rick and company, but I think there's definitely going to be some bloodshed.
because they definitely want Negan dead. I mean, they
Or-
left because of Negan and the Savior.
that
so,
age-old
they do
trope
have that.
where they go to them, ask for help. They're like, "No, we don't want to
And
get
then they
involved."
show up.
and then they're almost about to lose, and then they show
They
up.
can't pull it off like Game of Thrones did last season.
Oh, it was awesome! Battle of the Bastards.
It's like that is a
God.
cliche, annoying old trope, and somehow Game of Thrones just made it that much more awesome. But I don't think The Walking Dead
It
can
was
pull
really
it off in
good.
the same way.
because it's Ramsey Bolton, man. What are you
Yeah,
gonna
but
do?
I don't know. I'm anxious to see if they're going to side with them. Like I said, I think some will. I think that's a good way to put it because I mean they actually have hatred for Negan and the Saviors, whereas these scavengers don't even know who. They got the scavengers to join and they don't even know who Negan is. Whereas these people have had lost lots of people to the Saviors. So.
Well, it's very confusing considering that everyone is Negan. It's very confusing to know who Negan is.
Right.
Every time you talk to someone, are you Negan? Yeah, I'm Negan. What about you? Yeah, I'm Negan.
Yeah.
Are you Negan? Yeah, I'm Negan.
Kind of like
too.
the Fight Club thing.
I'm
Who
Negan.
are you? What's the first rule of Project Mayhem?
Don't talk about Project Mayhem.
Yep. All right. So I think
I
that's
thought
it.
that was the second rule.
No, the second rule. Yeah. No, wait. You're right. Yeah.
What is the first rule?
It's the first rule and the second
Oh.
rule. Remember the whole meatloaf thing where he's like, "What's the first rule? You shouldn't talk about it. The second rule, you shouldn't talk about it."
Oh.
What was the first rule of Project Mayhem? Was it you don't talk about Project Mayhem?
Yeah, because
Who
both
knows?
rules, Rule 1 and Rule 2, are the same rule.
Right. Well, I know that about Fight Club. The first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club of Project Mayhem is like the organization that develops within
Something about soap.
the Fight Club. So I can't remember if they keep it the same and they're like, and that's my favorite movie ever. So I really feel bad that I don't know that. I can't remember if they keep it the same. Like the first rule of Project Mayhem. No, the first rule of Project Mayhem is you don't ask questions.
Oh.
Damn. I'm pretty sure that's it.
You just gave yourself an excuse to go back and watch it again real quick.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
did. I'll probably watch it this evening. But anyway, so good episode, in my opinion.
It was
Not so much of
okay.
these two. I enjoyed
it. Was okay. We're slowly. Hopefully, it keeps this momentum and builds up as the second half of the season goes. I would like to really leave off on a good note this season,
Awesome.
considering that the mid-season finale wasn't that great.
Well, we shall see you next week, next Monday, unless some developments happen, in which we'll have a little, we like to pop up a little
Always.
mini podcast just to
To
keep
say
you
that.
updated. But so if not, we'll see you next Monday. I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Matt. Where is he?
And I'm JP.
Oh, there he is. Okay.